I'm going to finish up in this section by looking at something other than video. We're going to look at using photographs. Now eventually I want to utilize the photographs that I've got of the band in my final video during the opening section of the song. So let's quickly work through what we need to do and what we can do when we want to change something called the aspect ratio of a photograph if it doesn't quite fit in our monitor viewing area. As you can see, I'm starting with an empty project once more. If I move to the by type folder or bin and click it open and then navigate down to my stills, then once selected we see the photographs that I've brought in previously. If I want to preview any of these, by the way, well, I can do just like I could do with the video. I would just simply select a photograph, I may as well go for the top one, and then click on the preview button there. Of course it doesn't move, it's only a photograph. And if I want to use this, then of course all I need to do is left click on it and drag and drop down onto my timeline. And then I would grab the gripper to zoom in, should I want to. Okay, now we could bring all the photographs in that we want to use one by one, and then manually add any transitions between them. However, let's save us some time. Let's automate this process. So I'm going to delete this photograph first of all from our timeline. And now remember from a previous tutorial, if we do want to automate the process of having a transition between each individual photograph, remember how we did this in an earlier tutorial with videos? Well, we'll have to set the preferences to automatically do this. So first of all, go to options and then run right down to preferences and click on it. And with the resulting user interface, make sure you're on the editing tab there and check in the checkbox where it says automatically overlap multiple selected media when added and simply OK it. OK, and then if I want to grab all the photographs or a few at a time, I can do. For example, if I grab the top 6 photographs and then drag and drop them down onto my timeline, then of course they're all brought in with the transitions. If at this stage I want to add some more, then of course I would move my CTI to the end and then I would select the remaining photographs or whichever ones I want to bring in. Left click and drag and drop down onto my timeline. OK, they're all there now. At this stage, I would want to add my audio. Now at the moment it's not in my audio bin, so it does need importing. So I'll click on my Explorer tab and go to File, down to Import and across to Media. And then I would just simply navigate to the relevant folder where I know my audio file is. And once I've found it, then of course I would select the audio file and click on Open. As a result, we now see it in our Project Media panel. So I can left click on it and then drag and drop down onto my timeline. Okay, all good. Now, what I want to move on to involves rectifying the problem of having the photographs taken using the wrong aspect ratio relevant to our project settings. So for you to be able to see the process that helps us avoid this, I'm going to pause this screen recording and refocus our screen and adjust our timeline so that we can see just a couple of photographs. So I'll do that now. Okay, so we've refocused and we're actually looking at our last image, and you'll also notice that the audio I faded out there. If I actually want to adjust the length of my fade out, making it shorter or longer, then it's easy enough to do. Remember, just roll your cursor over the top right hand corner of your event, left click and drag and adjust as necessary. Let's have a quick listen to just this last bit. Okay, I'll hit play. Okay, all that works. Now I'll refocus once more and flip over my screen. Now you'll no doubt have noticed I've paused my recording once more and I've reduced the amount of photographs just for this tutorial. I'm only going to work on 3. Otherwise we would run out of time for the length of this tutorial. Okay, now I want to show you a possible problem with these photographs that does need rectifying. Now if I move my CTI across to see these 3 photographs, you'll notice that each one, to a larger or smaller degree, has some black borders running vertically on each side of each photograph, especially photograph number 2. Now what I want to do to rectify this is zoom in on the photograph so that no borders show. First of all, so that we can see this a little bit better, what I'm doing, I'll just enlarge my photo track 1 there on the track list, and in fact I'll zoom in as well. Okay, here's what we do then when we want to correct the aspect ratio of our photographs. I'll do it with the middle one, I think that's the worst, and then leave you to go through any photographs of your own that contain the same problem. If you actually look at the event itself, photograph 2 in this case, down in the bottom right of the event, you'll see that crop button there. Well, if you click on it, this opens up this video event effects user interface. Now, I'm not going to go through all those different parameters with you in this tutorial. We'll leave that for a future tutorial as necessary. And well, it's not that obvious, first of all, what we need to do when we want to match our photograph here with the output aspect of our project settings. There doesn't appear to be a button that we can click. Well, what we need to do is simply right-click on the image area and we'll see this pop up. And we need to choose the fifth one down, Match Output Aspect. Okay, it's as easy as doing that. Once you're done, click on the cross in the top right-hand corner to close this. And now you'll see in my monitor that the image has been zoomed in and it now contains no borders. And of course, from this point on, you would go through and do the same thing to all the photographs that suffer in this way. Okay, now I'm going to leave this tutorial here and in fact this section, now that we've had a look at how we can correct problems with photographs. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to leave it here and we're going to move into a new section where we're going to focus a bit more on the audio aspect of our project.